Okay, sticking with sorting, as we recall from the last class, we got into this thing called a bubble sort. And the bubble sort, when we started to take a look at it, the largest value went to the last spot and the other ones were slowly moving up so that we filled this spot. The next time through, we filled this spot and this spot. And, possibly we could have made multiple jumps, but we used the idea of doing side-by-side comparisons. And if I had to, I made a swap. And if I made a swap, that means it wasn't sorted. I need to go back through and check it again. So because of that, we had a for loop inside of here to go from this location where 4 is all the way out to 27, because 27 had to compare with 30. That's why we did size was 12. We did less than 11 because here was 11. We wanted size to be, or the last subscript to be 10. Okay, I'm starting to bore myself there. All right, and if a swap was made, we used the while and we stayed in there and we kept swapping away. Number one, boom, bubble sort. We had 3 types of sort: selection, exchange, which is what I did. I exchanged values, and insertion. Okay, today we're going to take a look at another exchange. And this one is called the ever popular damn sort. This is the damn sort. That's my sort. It's one I learned when I first started. It stuck with me. It's not around as much as I see anymore. But the Dan sort is going to work like this. So with the last exchange sort, we went side by side. Okay. And the largest ended up at the end in ascending order and so on. What the Dan sort is going to do is, instead of going side by side, it's going to take that first number, 0, and now it's going to compare it with the second number, which is 1. And if they need swapped, I swap them. Do they need swapped? Say no. Subscripts 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, all the way out to 11. They didn't need swap. Now I'm going to compare subscripts 0 and 2. Do they need swapped?
Yes.
Is 8 less than 4? No, no. Then I'm going to compare 0 and 3. Do they need swapped? 0 and 4, 0 and 5. I'm going to keep going all the way out until I hit what number?
11.
11,
30.
right? 11. So I'm going to go all the way down to 0 and compare it to 11. Now, regardless of any swaps are made or not, at the end of this, the smallest number should be in location 4. Bingo, done. Now I'm going to move to 1, and I'm going to compare 1 to 2. Do they need swapped? Yes, they do. Then I'm going to compare 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5, all the way down to 1 compared to 11 again. So I compared 1 and 2, they needed swapped. 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 1 and 5, 1 and 6, 1 and 7. No, all the way up. Now I'm going to go with 2. I'm going to compare 2 with 3. Do they need swapped? Yes. Then I'm going to compare 2 with 4, 2 with 5, 2 with 6, 2 with 7, all the way down 2 to 11. What would the next one be? I started at 0, went 1 to 11. 1, I went 2 to 11. 2, I went 3 to 11. 3, I'm going to start at 4 and go all the way down to 3, comparing it with 11. No problem, Tara. Didn't want to mark you absent. Tara's here. Okay.
Is
So let's do what?
Is there an extra memory required when doing this?
Nope. All we're doing again is nested loops. This time it's 2 for loops. The one we did over here was a while loop and a for loop. Okay. This guy's going to be 2 for loops. let's take a look at what's going on here. So I have my outer loop. My outer loop is this first column of numbers. It went from 0 all the way out to what?
11.
Well, it's not going to go to 11 because if it goes to 11, I don't have anything to compare it to.
10.
So yeah, it's going to go to 10. So my first loop is going to be 4 counter 1 equals 0. Counter 1 is less than, let's see, I wanted it to go, since we had 11 subscripts, I want it to go less than 11. Counter 1 plus plus. My next loop is going to be 4 counter 2 equals. Where does counter 2 start?
Up
So this guy is counter 1.
at 1.
This guy's counter. So the first time it starts at 1. The second time it doesn't start at 1, it starts at 2. Third time it starts at 3. Go ahead, Ryan.
Counter 1 plus 1.
Excellent. Counter 1 plus 1. I'm going to go while counter is, in this case, less than 12, because I want it to go all the way to the 11th one. And then I do counter 2, whoops, 2 plus plus. So far, so good? Inside of this for loop, what am I going to do? If when did I swap them? If the first one was greater than,
S.
well, I think I swap them if it's greater. So when I had the 14 and E8, when this one was bigger than this one is when I swapped them. So if array sub counter 1 is greater than array sub counter 2, watch this. I'm going to swap them. And that's it. Okay. Now you have to remember what your swap was. And I'm going to say right now that I forget who had to swap them. Somebody actually wrote a function that would send in 2 reference variables and return them swapped. What group did that on Tuesday? Might as well tell me because I'm going to wait.
I think it was my group, but I forgot his name.
Who was in that group? That was your
I
name.
think I had done that.
All right. I'm gonna
Yes,
stop.
Thomas, that was him.
Sharing is available. Can you go pull it up for us? Please.
Yeah, hold on a second.
All right.
Let me see where it is.
So hopefully you should have a copy of that sort that was that you wrote, bubble sort.
Here we go. Got it.
So like the last question on the test, we had to do a swap. We had to square the values. This is the same kind of thing. Line 45 swap. I bring in 2 reference variables. Temp gets a value of A gets a value of B gets a value of temp. Pa-pow. So now that I'm using this swap again, I might as well write a function and have it available. Questions? Thanks, Thomas. I like it. Yep. So that is sort number 2. Sort number 2. Both of those were exchange sorts because I took 2 locations and I switched them. Okay. We call those exchange. Now this one is called the selection sort. This is our 3rd type of sort. For your next program, you're going to have to do a sort that I give you a some pseudocode, a flow chart for. Then I recommend you go through it by hand first, and then you're going to put that in your program. You're going to have a program with 4 different sorts in. So I'm going to give you time today to write this one and time today to write this one. You're going to have to put those 3 plus the other sort that I give you. Now, if you write that sort with 4 loops, 3 of them, if you write it with 3 for loops, I'm giving you a 0, kicking you out of class, because that means you went on the internet and found a bad solution for it. When you write it, it's called the shell sort. When you write it, you should have 3 different types of loops. You need a for loop, a while loop, and a do loop. So I made that clear. All right, coming back to the selection sort. This one means I move immediately to the final position. All right, so I'm going to start here with 4, and I'm going to start at location 0, and I'm going to go and through the rest of my loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is there anything smaller than 0?
No.
And 4? No, right? Done. So now I'm going to move over to 1. My value is 14. Is there anything smaller if I go through the rest of this? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this 8 is smaller, right? So this guy is smaller. It's the smallest of what remains. So I'm selecting it and I'm moving it into this location. The next one is position 2. I go through. What would be the next smallest number? And where is it located? Looks like the 9. So I'm going to select the 9 and I'm going to swap these 2. Then I'm going to start at 14. Is there anything smaller than 14? No. Then I'm going to position 4. Is there anything smaller than the 20? No. I go to position 5. Is there anything smaller than 38? No. Yes. No, no. Oh, this is smaller. No, 20 is the smallest, right? Or 24, I mean. So then the 24 would get moved over here. 38 gets moved here. Next, I go to 40. Is there something smaller? Yes, 38 smaller, but wait, 33 is smaller. So now this would be the one moved over. I keep going. Wait, 27 is smaller. So now this one is actually the one that's going to get moved over. So it's called a selection sort. All right, let's see if we can start to pick some of this apart. Looks like I start at 0. And I know exactly how many values I'm going to go. I'm going to jump all the way out to this position, which is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So my outer loop should be for counter equals 0. Counter is, I want to go to 10. So if I really wanted to do, I could do less than size minus 1. That's going to give me the subscripts from 0 to 11. So far, so good. Now I want the 0 position and I want to go through the rest of them. But I also was saying I needed to keep track of if something was smaller. So I'm going to go that, let's see, I'm going to start at this position. There it is. Whoop, there it is. So when I went through this, erase, 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 I did 0, okay, and 4. So I'm at position 0. Now I want to find the location and the value that's smaller than that 4. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a variable called small value. And I'm going to get the smallest location. So right now I'm starting at 0. My small value is going to be 4. My small location is 0. My counter is 0. So I'm going to go from the rest of the way out, and which would be 1 out to 11, and see if there's a value smaller than the 4 and what its location is, because that's what I'm going to swap. You with me? I'd like to turn you loose on this, but I'm going to have you code these when we're done. All right, so what do I have? So first thing I do is I want to check this as the location in the small, because if I'm all done, basically I want it to swap with itself if nothing else. So I'm going to come in and say small value gets the value of,
Subscript 1.
well, not yet, because I'm at location 0 right now. So small value is going to get the value of
Array
Zero.
counter.
array subcounter. And the smallest location right now is itself, which would be counter. Okay, now I need my second loop for counter 1 equals. This is going to be similar to the Dan sort because I'm looking at 0 and I want to go the rest of the way out. So what's this going to be? Where am I going to start?
+1.
+1. How far out am I going to go with counter 1?
The size.
Less than size? Okay. Counter 1 plus plus. So what do I need to do inside of here? If I find a value that's smaller than small value, then I want to reassign small value, reassign small location. When I come out, I need to swap them. If array sub
Small location.
okay, small location, because right now that's the smallest. If that's greater than
Array sub counter 1.
array excellent sub counter 1, if that's the case, what am I going to do?
Swap or
Not yet. Not yet. I'm going to come inside of here and say
change
small,
location.
small value gets the value of what?
Counter 1.
Not yet. That would be the location.
Array counter 1.
Yeah, array counter 1. Small location equals counter 1, because that's where I'm currently at. So this would keep going through finding that smallest one. Now, when I come out of this for loop, what do I need to do? So I come out of this for loop, like that's my for loop. As soon as I come out of them, what do I want to do before I move over to the next number? I'd like to swap. What would I be swapping?
The value at counter and the value at counter +1 or counter 1.
I'm swapping array sub counter with array sub
Small location.
small location. Very good. Because that's where the smallest one should be coming out of this. Woo! Got it? Oh, can't see both of them.
What's the point of small value if it's not being checked anywhere?
Okay, so right now, let's say I'm at 14. I already took care of this one. It's done, it's in the right spot. And I say, okay, 14 and is my small value, but I come over and compare it with this value 8. Is
But
8
you're not comparing it anywhere. At least it doesn't look like it from what I'm reading.
right here? So this is the 14th because that's where the current small location is. And then this is me traversing through the rest of the loop.
I think he means that you're not specifically using the small value variable in the comparison.
I'm not, I could, but so instead
So
of,
like the way you're doing it, I don't think you need small value.
no, but see,
Just small
I needed to
location.
keep track. See, here it is, the small value and the erase of counter 1. It's really erase of, yeah, I would put it in to keep track. Because it's going to keep changing. Because remember when we took a look at 38, small value became 24, and I needed to hang on to that. I could have used erase of location when I changed the location. That would have been fine as well to give me the value, but I just liked having 2 variables. Nathan, are you okay with that?
You're not using it.
Right. We don't, okay, so you want to
Like I
just,
don't know what else to say.
I understand what you're saying. So
I mean,
for
something
demonstration,
here should be changed to small value.
I think what he was going to say is that we can only use the index and we still can get off
Nathan,
the small value.
you are absolutely right. Okay. But the reason I had small value in was so that when it's being taught for the first time, you know that I'm restoring a new small value each time. I'm restoring.
Okay.
You are totally saying, and you are absolutely right. I did not need this line and I did not need this line.
Okay, I was just confused there for a second. I was like,
But-
wait, it was something there supposed to be checking small value?
Yep, but it
Okay.
was, and again, I could have put small value right here, right, wherever it was. Right here. I could have put small value.
Makes sense.
So no, we don't need it, but for the teaching purpose of it, I put small value in there to show that we keep rechanging the value. As the location changes, I'm keeping track of a smaller value, but the location could be 8 and we know the value is erase of 8. Yep, you're right. Questions? Okay, I want you to go write the functions. A function for Dan sort. A function for selection sort. A function for swap. And I would add them all right into wherever you had bubble sort. Questions?
I only have 2 type of sorts in my book.
Yeah, Dan sort's not in the book. So you better come to class or you're not going to get it.
Okay.
Professor,
Yeah,
my internet crashed when you were going over the Dan sort. Can you scroll up so I can
Sure.
screenshot it? Thank you.
let's see. I need to close all of my old rooms. I need to recreate them. We have 21 people here. So as much as it's hard to get around to 7 rooms, I'm going to make 7 rooms. Any questions? When you are done, I will see you in 12 days. Enjoy your break. If you have any questions, please let me know.